Of course, a lot of people coming to Thailand are looking for a party. Whether you're just looking for a chill beer or a night that ends in absolute chaos followed by an existential crisis the next day, there's a little bit of something for everybody. So today I am giving you my pro tips for surviving Thailand's nightlife, just to make sure you don't get in over your head, you don't spend too much money, or end up paying for a bar girl's mom's new Mercedes. How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Of course, a lot of people coming to Thailand are interested in getting their party on, but especially compared to the West, there's a few things about Thailand nightlife that you should understand prior to coming, just so you can make sure you have the best time. You don't leave somewhere with a bad taste in your mouth. You hold on to the money you shouldn't be spending any more than you intend to. You should have an idea of where you're going and what you're doing. So today I've rounded up a few points that I think are absolutely important for you to understand prior to coming here, so you can know what to expect and you can make sure you're not getting ripped off or making any decisions that will ruin your time. Welcome back to day 9 of No Chill November. That means daily videos, weekly live streams. Thank you so much to everybody who has been here so far, keeping up in all the videos. Things have been going absolutely awesome, so I just wanted to throw you guys a little shout out for that. But let's hop into the video. First things first, not all establishments in Thailand are created equal. Certain places offer certain things. Certain places you'll be able to have certain experiences, other places you won't. So it's really important to understand what these differences are. Understanding of, hey, this is what I want to do tonight. This is the thing that I'm looking for. This is the type of fun I want to have. The first step in your whole Thailand debauchery journey is understanding what bars offer what you can expect going into, different places. And a very important aspect of understanding this is you have an idea of where you should be going or what you should be looking for prior to you going out. It's important to learn and do a little bit of research on what you can expect from different places. Now that is the perfect segue into our next point, and that is no matter what type of experience you are looking for when it comes to nightlife or having some beers, even during the day or on the beach, when it comes to bars, in Thailand, there is a little bit of something for everybody. If you just want to go out, have a couple of chill, cheap beers, shoot some pool, chop it up with some locals, there are tons of, mom and pop style places where it's hole in the wall. You're probably going to get the best prices, which we will get into a little bit more later as well. And then all the way up to full-blown nightclubs that you would see somewhere, like Ibiza, or even some of them are comparable to places like Vegas at this point. So no matter what you're looking for, it is available. I can pretty much guarantee. Now, tying back into our first point, a huge part of learning what you want to do in Thailand is being able to spot these places. Things like if you're looking for a full-blown Ibiza style nightclub with all the lasers and the LED screens and bumping music, you're probably not going to find that on some little side soy in whatever city you're in. There are certain districts where that stuff is available. And on the other side of that, if you're looking for a place that's super chill, laid back, fair drink prices, you're not going to find too many of those in places like Soy Cowboy or Walking Street in Pattaya. And my favorite thing about this is if you go out for a night, you can have a little bit of everything. If you are coming to Pattaya, especially if you want to get a hold of my ultimate Thailand nightlife guide, giving you a breakdown of different areas, the types of bars, clubs that are in those areas, as well as the experiences that are offered, prices, everything like that. It's available for a one-time purchase on my Buy Me a Coffee, which will be down in the description. Throughout this video, something for you to think about if you've spent time in Thailand, if you've gone out and cut loose a little bit, if you have any extra points you think is important for people to understand, things that they should know before they come here, please feel free to drop them down in the comments. Now, our third point, budgeting. It may come as kind of common sense to a lot of people, but some people seem to fail to understand that what you're gonna pay for these nights out really absolutely depends on where you are. Different streets, different ends of the street in certain places that you go, the prices for drinks can vary wildly depending on where you are. If you go to places like Nana Plaza in Bangkok or Walking Street here in Pattaya, you can be on one street, be paying 100 baht for a drink, go one street over, and now all of a sudden you're paying 400 baht. So if you are gonna be partying on a budget, it's a good idea to try to get away from those main hubs, those little side streets and stuff are the places where you're gonna find the best deals for drinks. Everywhere you go in, see if there's any specials going. Keep an eye out for signs out front, happy hours. Some places you can find happy hours where you can buy one, get 2 drinks free, all kinds of crazy stuff. One little caveat when it comes to drink specials that's really important, something you have to understand and keep an eye out for. We will get to that a little bit later, so make sure you stick around. Like we mentioned in our first point, different bars offer different experiences. Some bars, when you go in, there'll be girls working there. And if you want to buy those girls a drink, you absolutely can. They'll spend time with you. They'll whoop your ass at Connect 4. But a thing that people talk about a long time is if you go into these places, you have to buy the girls a drink. That is absolutely not true. Now, if you go in, you're just buying drinks for yourself, that's absolutely fine. But those girls are there to make money. If you're not spending money, it's very likely that you're probably not gonna get a whole lot of attention. I don't blame them. Girls are there to get paid. So if you wanna go in, have a couple drinks, and you don't feel like buying drinks for anybody, that's absolutely fine. If you are in a place that's trying to pressure you into buying drinks for other people, I would highly advise finishing your beer and then just moving on. Now, there are a couple caveats to this that I have seen personally. I've seen guys that will want to go in, sit in a place, but order a water, and then they'll want to sit there for 4 hours, not spend any money, try to talk to everybody, get entertained by the girls. Don't be that guy. That situation is much different than if you want to go into a place and just get a couple beers and be on your way. If you are in there trying to get the VIP treatment and you're not spending any money, don't be a brokey. That is not a good look. But if you are buying yourself a couple drinks and you're in a place where somebody tries to convince you or they try to force you or they're rude or whatever, just smile, finish your drink, and then move on to another place. You really have to pay attention if you are going into places. Make sure that you are getting what you pay for, whether that be on the low end or the high end. It doesn't happen frequently, pulling the old switcheroo on bottles, pouring low tier stuff into high tier bottles. If you are a person that enjoys more expensive spirits, that is one thing you should definitely pay attention to. And the opposite of this is true as well. If you're going into a place and you just want a normal, vodka pineapple, you don't want to pay for anything extra, any top shelf, it's very important that you keep an eye on your bill for this reason, and as well as another one we'll get into with our last point. I have had it happen to me a couple times. You go in, you're having a few drinks, you're paying for the wells, you're just getting normal stuff, and then before you know it, after a couple hours, now you're getting charged for premium spirits. So it doesn't happen often. It is very possible. So that is one thing you should absolutely keep an eye out for. Things you need to keep an eye out for to make sure you're not essentially getting scammed, no trickery, anything like that. The vast majority of places you go into, they're gonna be honest, they're gonna wanna take care of you. They are good to their customers, but the reality is when alcohol is flowing, there's money involved. Some people see an opportunity and they try to capitalize. If you were to ignore that, that would just be very naive. So a few things that you do need to keep an eye out for. The main one, we mentioned it briefly earlier, is bill padding. Whether it be upcharging you for a type of alcohol you didn't get, or drinks just being added onto your tab that you did not order. So what I've seen from this, when this does happen, is how it usually works is not necessarily you sitting there by yourself. You drink 4 beers and then before you know it, they're trying to get you to pay for 6. The places that I have noticed bill padding happening is usually in the places where there's girls working. You talk to one girl, you want to buy her a drink, the other girl was talking to you, and somehow, whether it be an honest mistake or an attempt to capitalize, somehow now you've bought both of these girls a drink, or you somehow bought the bartender a drink as well. You need to be very clear about who you want to buy a drink for if you do. Another one of those ones that does happen, and it's arguable as being an honest mistake a lot of the time, but that is just getting shortchanged. If you've been in a place for a few hours, you've had a ton of drinks, it's very important that you make sure, like we said, that you are getting what you paid for and you are getting your money back for whatever you paid for. This has only happened to me once or twice. Honestly, when it did happen to me, I felt like it was a pretty honest mistake. It's never been like an exorbitant amount. It's been 1, maybe 200 baht. Now this last point has happened to me as well. And this is honestly the only real one where I thought it was very blatant that somebody was trying to essentially trick me. And I've seen it to happen to a few other people as well. And that is just essentially price gouging. You go in, they've got a happy hour sign out front. You're sitting there drinking, thinking, you're paying X amount for your beers or whatever. And then the bill comes out and there's some type of excuse of why what you get doesn't qualify, Or somebody, you ask if you want to buy a girl a drink, how much the drink costs. She says, oh, well, it's this much. And then before you know it, instead of her getting a 200 baht well drink, she goes to the counter and orders Grey Goose. Now she's come back with a 600 baht drink. I have seen this happen quite a few times. Another one of those situations where you need to be very clear about what you're looking for and what you're agreeing to. And I saw this happen one time very blatantly to a friend of mine. We were out, he wanted to buy a girl a drink. He asked what she wanted. She said wine. He said, okay. Girls goes to the bar, comes back with an entire bottle of their most expensive wine that they had in the building. I think it was like 5,000 baht for the bottle. Understandably, he was very upset, but it's one of those things, if you get into that argument, all of a sudden security's there, God forbid police show up, you're probably not gonna win that argument and you're probably gonna have to end up paying it anyways. So be very clear about expectations. There's been a bit of hoopla floating around the interwebs lately that I've seen talking about how Thailand's nightlife is dangerous now, or it's not worth it anymore. I absolutely believe that is not true at all. We have mentioned it before that it's important that you keep yourself honest. Don't go into things being super naive or ignorant to what's happening around you. Just pay attention to what's going on. Make sure you're not giving anybody the opportunity to capitalize on the fact that you know you're completely twisted. If you did make it this far in the video, thank you so much for hanging out. As always, I want to hear from you. What is your most unforgettable / crazy / WTF night out when it comes to Thailand? These stories are always awesome. I would love to do a compilation pretty soon. I want to hear all your guys' wild stories, whether it be hanging out with Thai women, drinking, partying, crazy stuff. So please drop them down in the comments below. I would love to pick through them, but that is all for me today. You are now a Thailand Nightlife pro. If you would like to dive a little bit deeper, don't forget that Buy Me a Coffee link is down below. Have a great day. We'll see you later.